So, over the last 5 years, I've built that good of a network around me. It is now one of my most valuable assets. Since I started in business, I started networking, and one of the main things with that, I just naturally became good at it. But what is networking? Why do I use it? What can you do with it? Like, the easiest way for me to say this is network equals net worth, and the bigger clients and the bigger people you're wanting to get to know and be around and network with, you have to look at the type of money they earn, the type of clients they work with, and where will them people be. But this video in particular isn't going to be about that. It's going to be a different video. This video is for people that are already networking, whether this be online, through LinkedIn, in person, networking meetings, or maybe you're just actually drinking in high-end places and you're getting to talk to people there. So what do you do with it? You get in there now, you want to make sure that you're actually optimizing your networking. And like I said, I've done this over 5 years, and there's probably three of the biggest tips I could give anyone for this to really make sure they're optimizing it is going to be the three that follow. So number one for the things you can do for optimizing your network is simply going in your diary and looking over the last 90 days. I can tell you now, you've probably not done it. You might look back over the last week, the last 2 weeks, the last even 3 weeks, but you might look back over the last 90. And a big thing with this when you're looking in your calendar is who have you met at certain events. So you're not just looking for meetings people have booked in. What events have you been to? Who did you meet at them events? Did you connect with them on LinkedIn? Have you looked over your connections over the last 90 days? Over the last 90 days, literally look at who you have spoken to, who have you connected with, where are they, have you spoke to them, have you messaged them? Because you'll be amazed. Then people are going to remember you. Or you need to start the conversation again, which we'll come on to in a second. But you really need to go back over the last 90 days. And you can honestly optimize so much with this. This process is literally called following up. Simply, if you're an experienced networker, you'll probably know the term. But you need to do it because you've spoke to them, you've met them, you've done something, you've got this information. Now what? That's great. You've been to an expo and you've seen all these people at this expo and you collected all these business cards. Now what? It's all about starting them conversations again. And it is so important that you literally need to go through the last 90 days and do this all the time though. So literally next week, over the last 90 days again, you'll see them people again. It's just literally going through it over and over again because there'll be people in that week. And that might seem a bit of overkill, but you're gradually going over it. You'll start seeing who's cold leads, warm leads, hot leads, or who's none. Maybe they're just a connection. Maybe you got on with them and you met them at an event and you really liked them and you really wanted to carry that conversation on further. So you really need to go and do it. But like I said, don't just do it over a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Do it over 90 days because it won't fail you. But you need to look everywhere. Instagram, got Instagram as well? Go through your recent Instagram followers. Check it. You never know. 90 days is your first point. You need to go through and check. So the next point is something that I've said several times now, which is literally start the conversation, or in particular, restart the conversation. You need to get talking to these people because if you're not talking to them, how the hell are you going to get to know them? If you need to be given tips for restarting a conversation, if you feel like it maybe went a bit dead or a bit cold, pick something that you previously talked about, expand on it, or when you originally talked to them, ask things about the personal life, such as are they going on holiday, what they've got planned for this year, have they got any kids? Ask these questions and you can bring them back up and talk to them thoroughly about them. You don't have to talk business. It's all about just restarting that conversation. Also, you can look back at previous posts I've done or recent posts, pick something off it and talk about that you actually think is relevant to your conversation and you can talk about. Don't just pick something random off it that you can't actually have a conversation for, because otherwise it's going to start and it's just going to go dead again. You need to put the effort in. It's very similar to if you're wanting to make friends or date someone. If you want to, you have to put the effort because the other person wasn't looking for you. They wasn't wanting to talk to you. You're wanting to talk to them. So therefore you have to put the effort in. You can't expect it to be the other way around until that conversation starts going, that relationship starts being built. But until that point, you need to restart the conversation. At the end of this video, I'm going to give you a few ways you can make this easier on different platforms. So hang on till the end and I'll point them out for you. Then my third really simple point for expanding your network and make sure that you kill it is literally create a networking CRM. Most of us will probably have a CRM for our business, so let's create a networking one. But let's keep it simple. So firstly, the reason you want a networking CRM stands for customer relationship management or client relationship management. But most of us have these, like I say, for business, for our pipelines, for people that are booking in calls, downloading our ebooks, all this other stuff. But do you have one for networking? You know, where did you meet someone? Who did you talk to? Are you going to save the cold, warm or hot leads? It's all about keeping track of these people because then you can manage it, especially if you're wanting to actually get to know a lot of people in one go. And the simplest way to do this is a spreadsheet. Simple as that. I'm one for tech and software. If you know me, you'll know that. But something like this, just keep it simple. Get a spreadsheet. You can add someone's name in, where you met them, where you connected with them. You can put a link to the LinkedIn profile straight away on it, etc., etc. But just create a simple spreadsheet so you can make your life so much easier. The main point with this is to make sure that you date it. I do want to point that out. You need to put a date on when you last spoke to them or when they last spoke to you. What date did you meet them? You know, it's all about the information on there. The more you put on there, the better you're going to be able to build that relationship, which is obviously what a CRM is all about. So if you don't do it, you're fucked, because how are you going to keep track of all these people? But just stick them all in a spreadsheet and make your life easier. Trust me, it will seriously help, because then if any of them start to become warm or hot leads, they then just move into your pipeline, however you track that. So this is just for like literally building relationships, and don't have to be complicated, and they can move them into your pipeline when you need to. Easy, right? I did say I wanted to keep these 3 points as short or as easy as possible for just growing your network and optimizing it, because they work for me, they haven't failed. And I did say a moment ago that there's some ways of doing this a bit easier on different platforms, because they found these out recently and it's been an absolute game changer. So for LinkedIn, you can star people's messages in your inbox. So if you go to your inbox, you can literally go to the chat, you can star it, and then on the filters of the inbox as well, you can actually select starred messages. So if you're wanting to keep certain messages going, but you don't want to lose them in the void of messages, just star them and then go to your filter and click star. That's number 1. Number 2 is Instagram. You can flag messages. It's the exact same way of doing it, just flag someone's message on there, and then when you go back to read through the messages, you can go to filter, you can go to flagged, and it'll bring all the flagged messages up. These systems are building this to make our life easier, whether they realise it or not, so why we're not using them? Like, just go and do it, it's free, it's built in, you're not having to pay for any extra software. You can make your life easier on top of your CRM doing it. And if you are one of these weird and wonderful people that gets leads through Twitter, you can also pin Twitter messages. Once again, exact same routine. Just go to Twitter, go to your messages, pin them. I did try doing this obviously in like WhatsApp and things like that as well, if I've got some people's numbers, but it's harder. You can only pin like 3 people. Yeah, it's a lot more sticky. But in particular for LinkedIn, the starred ones really, really work. It's absolutely amazing, and it's such a game changer. As much as I've said these points are easy and simple, because I like to try and make my content exactly that, this is all about hard work. And like I said earlier, if you want these relationships, you have to put the work in. And if you want this to pay off, you have to put the work in. It's not as easy as just going, hi, sliding someone's DM, sticking them on a spreadsheet and checking in with them every week. You've got to show real interest. Why do you want to talk to them? Why do they want to talk to you? And the biggest tip of all of this, don't be salesy. I'm going to do full range of videos on networking, and this was just the first one I wanted to do because it came from a LinkedIn post that I'll put in the description. And it does make your life easier doing it this way. But the top 3 ways of just optimizing your network is as simple as looking through the last 90 days, restarting the conversation / following up, if you know the correct term, and building a networking CRM. It's as easy as that. Hopefully you found this video useful. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It's a brief one, it's a quick one, but I hope you find it useful, and let me know how you get on.